Hello and welcome to my guide to Magicka Templar in the Elder Scrolls Online. I get a lot of questions about how to play a Magicka Templar and decided that maybe it's time I share my secrets. In this video I will show you how to dominate. I will be compacting my 6 years of ESO PvP experience into one short list for you, the fantastic ESO community. Now, the first thing to do upon entering Cyrodiil is to type LFG in Zone Chat. I highly recommend making a macro that can automatically spam the Zone Chat with LFG so that you don't hurt your fingers. You'll need your fingers in peak condition for sending whispers, but we'll get onto that later. The LFG group you ultimately want is the one with the most players possible. If you get into a full 24-man stack, it is perfect. If you have any less than 24, you need to encourage your group leader to stay at the frontline keeps and follow the rest of your faction to make absolutely sure your full force and PvP skill is concentrated in one place. In terms of tactics, the fights you're looking for are the ones which you cannot possibly lose. After all, it's proven that every kill you get increases your skill level. Instead of providing you with just a build and some sets, I'm going to go one better. I'm going to provide you with the rule set you need so that you know how to create your own dominant war builds. Okay, rule number 1, at least 40,000 health. Rule number 2, lots of Magicka recovery. Rule number 3, always use a lightning staff. This will ensure that you cannot miss your target with heavy attacks, and it also allows you to flex on fools with some 360 no-scopes. This is a visual indicator of your skill level. I myself have seen 1,961 players in a group on Alessia Bridge run in fear after witnessing me perform one. That campaign went from poplock to empty in one move, and we won the campaign that month because of it. Okay, onto the skills. Magicka Templar can be a very complex and difficult class to play. It has a wide array of useful tools to choose from, however, it's far too complicated to worry about. So I've simplified this for you and arranged a skill set that's easy to use and exceptionally powerful. Skill number 1, Toppling Charge. In terms of appropriate use, it's imperative you spam this at every possible target, and do it until the opponent is dead. Do not worry about using anything else, this is all you will need. Your main focus, when a fight breaks out, is Stamina Nightblades. Do not worry about any other target. Ignore all hostile healers and imminent threats and get them first. The main reason for this is to get them out of fight as quickly as possible. Mainly because it feels nice, and it encourages them not to play. You can also slot this skill on both bars, just in case you accidentally weapon swap. Just make sure you put it in the same skill slot so that you don't press the wrong button. Skill number 2, Breath of Life. This is your spammable skill and should be used all the time. You may think that you only need to use it when taking damage, but that is incorrect. You should be using this at all times, unless you're toppling Nightblades. Even when no one is taking damage, you might get a heal off on a friendly that's swapping bars and get some alliance points. You can of course slot other skills, but I would recommend against it because you run the risk of confusing yourself. Now then, for the meaty stuff, the real skill improver and the best way to improve yourself in ESO. And that is whispers and the creation of self-importance. Now, for the creation of self-importance, it's imperative you tell yourself you are a good player as often as possible. Also, be sure to tell everyone else how good you are as well. If you do this enough, it becomes the truth. If you followed this guide correctly to this point, you should know that if anyone ever manages to kill you, they must be cheating. Because it's absolutely impossible for anyone to be better than you. Make sure to shout out loud, fucking cheat, and to then type it in Zone Chat. Moving on to the whispers, You should, at every possible opportunity, insult your opponents directly. I highly recommend installing the Kill Counter add-on, as this makes it easy for you to click on the names from the chat window for an instant whisper. Because remember, the more time you save, the more time you have to tell yourself and everyone else how good you are. Your whisper game needs to be fast and concise. You must quickly hit them with it and then block them before they have any chance to reply. This ensures absolute victory and is proven to improve your PvP skill and reduce theirs. There are some timeless classics that I'm happy to share, but you can be inventive with these, and remember, you don't need to make any sense whatsoever. They just need to be fast and nasty. Number 1, Get Wrecked Scrub. Just a timeless classic. Number 2, Zergling. Anything and everything is a Zergling and should be called as such. That guy who looked like he was on his own? No. He was a spy, and his death stopped an entire faction push. So make sure he knows that you know. Number 3, Noob Bitch. A solid whisper. Again, this is very much like the LFG. I mentioned macros. I would advise buying a solid macro keyboard with function keys so that you can send these super fast and minimize hurting your fingers. Now, kind of brings us on to the end of the video, but I assure you, if you follow these rules, you will be a god in Cyrodiil. Also, please accept my apologies for the lack of relevant footage. There was no 24-man groups available at 5:30 AM when I wrote this. So soldiers, get out there for the Queen.